Life often feels like a long stretch of waiting where promises seem slow to come to pass, and prayers hang in the air unanswered. We wonder if God has forgotten us. We ask why the doors stay closed when we have knocked so many times, and we question whether our dreams were even from Him at all. But deep within the silence of those waiting seasons, God is working in ways unseen. The delays you face are not denials, they are divine pauses orchestrated by a Father who knows exactly what you need. And when you need it, when God delays, He is not punishing you, He is preparing you when you feel stuck in same place for too long. It may not be because nothing is happening, it might be because everything is being aligned in heaven before it manifests on earth. Isaiah 6022 reminds us when the time is right, I the Lord will make it happen, not you, not your strength, not your connections, but the Lord Himself. This verse is not about passively waiting. It is about trusting in divine timing, knowing that your destiny is safe in the hands of the one who holds all time. When God turns delay into destiny, He does not simply give back what you lost. He transforms the waiting into wisdom, the silence into strength, and the pain into power that will sustain you for the journey ahead. Sometimes you may look at others and wonder why their lives seem to move faster, why they get answers, while you are still stuck in the middle of your prayer. But delay is not a sign of God's absence. It is evidence of His care. If He gave you what you asked for too soon, it could destroy you. The delay is God's way of shaping your character to match your calling. Every moment of waiting becomes a sacred classroom where faith is refined and patience is perfected. Joseph waited years in prison before his dream came to life. David was anointed as king, but went back to tend sheep before the crown was placed on his head. Abraham waited decades for a promise that seemed impossible, yet when the time was right, the Lord made it happen. And the same God who fulfilled their promises is the same God who is working in your story right now. You may be in the middle of a delay, but you are not in the middle of defeat. The God who authored your story already knows the ending, and He never writes unfinished stories. Sometimes the waiting is the very place where destiny is being born. You are learning to trust not in outcomes, but in His character, not in speed, but in surrender. God's delays teach you dependence, because true destiny cannot be built on impatience. It must be grounded in faith that endures when the road feels endless. The delay is the sacred space where you discover that God Himself is enough. He becomes your portion. When nothing else seems sure, He becomes your peace. When uncertainty floods your heart, He becomes your guide. When every door remains closed, this kind of waiting produces something far greater than immediate results. It builds eternal depth within you, and that is what destiny truly requires. The enemy will whisper that God has forgotten you, that the delay means your season is over. But the truth is, the delay is the doorway through which destiny walks in. When God finally moves, it happens suddenly. All the years of waiting will make sense. All the prayers that seemed unanswered will unfold in perfect sequence, and you will realize that His timing was never off. It was precise. The delay protected you from walking into something too soon. It shielded you from blessings that would have become burdens. It positioned you to handle what you once could only hope for. The story of your delay will one day become the testimony of His divine precision, because destiny is never rushed. It is revealed in due time, so do not mistake waiting for wasting. God wastes nothing. Every tear, every prayer, every disappointment, and every delay is being used to prepare the perfect moment when your breakthrough will come. God is never late. He is just building a foundation strong enough to hold the weight of what is coming. And when it happens, it will not be something small. It will be pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When God says now, the waiting will end suddenly. What took years will unfold in a moment. You will see doors open that no one can shut, and you will realize that the delay was never a prison. It was a process. When God turns your delay into destiny, He does not simply resume what was paused. He renews what was promised and multiplies what was meant for loss. Sometimes you wait so long that you start lowering your expectations. You convince yourself that maybe it was never meant to happen, or that maybe you misheard God. But delay is never the death of a promise. It is the deepening of it. God lets the promise mature within you until it becomes bigger than the blessing itself. The wait turns your focus away from outcomes and onto the one who gives them, because the greatest miracle is not what you receive at the end of the delay, it is who you become in the middle of it. Every step you take in faith, even when nothing changes, is forming the character that will hold your destiny together. When the blessing finally arrives, You will no longer need validation from people because you will have learned. Stand on His word alone. The delay strips you of pride, of self-reliance, of false timelines. It breaks every illusion of control, so that by the time God fulfills His word, you are no longer attached to how it happens, or when it happens you only care that it is His will being done. When Joseph's brother threw him into the pit, they thought they were destroying his dream, but the pit was part of the plan, the prison was part of the plan. The delay was necessary for destiny to manifest because God was not just preparing a position for Joseph, He was preparing Joseph for the position in the same way. Delay you face right now is preparing you for what God has already written in your future. The people who passed you by, the opportunities that slipped away, the prayers that seemed unanswered were all threads in a divine tapestry. That you cannot yet see God's hand has never left you. He is weaving purpose into every delay. The seed does not question the soil while it waits in the dark. It simply trusts that when the time is right, it will break forth and bloom. You too are like that seed, hidden beneath layers of waiting, not forgotten but planted. And when the divine timing comes, what once felt like a burial will reveal itself as a planting. When you rise, you will not only walk into your destiny, but you will carry the strength that came from the waiting. You will speak with wisdom, born of delay. You will serve with humility, carved from hardship. And you will shine with faith, refined in fire. God delays what you desire so He can develop who you are. When He turns delay into destiny, He makes sure you are not just blessed, but ready to bear the blessing. Delay teaches you to pray with persistence, to believe without evidence, and to worship without reward. It refines your motives and makes your heart pure before God. The delay may stretch your faith, but it also strengthens it for the long run. Destiny requires endurance. It is not built overnight. It is shaped in seasons when nothing seems to move and everything inside you wants to give up. But if you hold on, you will see that every delay has divine direction attached to it. Sometimes you have to walk through seasons that make no sense to arrive at a purpose that makes perfect sense when the time is right. God will make it happen, not a moment sooner, not a second too late. His timing is not based on your clock, but on your calling. When you realize that your waiting has purpose, the weight of delay begins to lift, because you understand that you are not stuck. You are being stationed. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. Destiny takes time because the best things God gives are never rushed. The longer the delay, the deeper preparation and the greater the manifestation. When the door finally opens, it will not creak. It will swing wide, and what once felt like wasted years will become the foundation for the future you prayed for. You will look back and see that God's hand was there in every deep, or every delay, every disappointment, and every dark night. The silence was never empty. It was filled with His unseen activity. While you were waiting, He was building. While you were doubting, He was designing. While you were crying, He was crafting a destiny greater than your imagination. You are not behind. You are right on schedule because His timing is perfect. The same God who created time cannot be late. He stands outside of it, orchestrating your life with precision and love. So take heart. The waiting is not in vain. When God turns delay into destiny, He restores the years that felt lost. He redeems the moments that seemed wasted, and He reveals that every second of delay was divine strategy. You will step into what He has promised, and it will be worth every tear, every prayer, every night of wondering, because when the time is right, He will make it happen, and when He does, it will be beautiful beyond measure. Your delay is not your end. It is the doorway to your destiny. So do not give up. Do not let go. The longer you have waited, the greater the glory that will be revealed. Your story will testify that delay is not denial. It is divine direction that leads to destiny. And when God finally moves, you will see that He was never slow. He was simply perfect.